Sher, all the way from Tanzania, Africa. And our co-host, Dr. Deepak Sharma, is also on the line from the Orbits Clinic in India. This is a world event, and I see so many friends on the chat. You can comment there, you can ask questions. There's even a possibility for you to call in the United States via 919-518-9773 or via Skype at Computers 2K Voice. I would like to begin just with a prayer for peace, peace in the Middle East, peace around the world, peace in Africa, and in the United States, everywhere you are. If we all unify with good deeds, caring, kindness, and compassion, we will make a better world together. And I'm so honored and pleased to have Dr. Jeremy Sher and his wife Camilla with us today for this special program. There's almost like you don't even have to introduce him. Jeremy, educator, author, remedy prover, and he will tell us about his new book later on, founder of Homeopathy for Health in Africa, where he's devoted his life with his family, and the Dynamis School, where he's taught so many students. He offers training. I don't know if you're still doing it, in advanced homeopathy to practitioners. I think a lot of volunteers come and stay with you and learn tons of so much information. You've been there, Jeremy's been there since 2008 and has helped AIDS patients to gain strength, to be able to be productive and able to provide for their families, ability to work using the homeopathic energy remedies that we so adore and love and know are vital and effective. He has learned also to understand the importance of dreams and getting down to fundamentals and case taking. He is going to share with us stories and live video cases and a PowerPoint. I don't want to hold up any more time because we got 15 minutes delay, and let's just go ahead and get started. Welcome to Dr. Sharma and to Jeremy and Camilla, and thank you, blessings, Amnon, our producer who is there doing everything in the background. Welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Can you see me now?
You're great.
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
I'm on. Okay. This is Jeremy Sher from Africa, Tanzania, and this is Camilla.
Hi.
My wife, and we'll try and speak together. And I want to tell you a little bit about, well, first of all, thank you all for joining us. We're very happy to be with all of you. I can't see the list of all the people, but I'm sure there are many of you that we know, and we're happy to be here with all of you and for this opportunity to tell a little bit about what we're doing. I'm sure many of you follow our newsletters, and my wife Camilla is very active on Facebook and does a great job on that. So I'll start with giving you a little bit of background about how life is here in Africa for us. We've been here, as Debbie said, from 2008, so it's be coming up to 6 years soon, and it's been a long road. In the beginning, when we came, we thought we were just coming for 6 months or for a year. You know, we didn't know what we were heading for. And things take time in Africa, and such a mission as we have takes a lot of time, patience, and effort. And we've learned to be patient with it. And things are coming together after going through a lot of hurdles in the beginning with opening clinics and bureaucracy and learning to understand how to live properly in Africa. We are now seeing the first fruits really of all our action over here. We have many clinics running, and let me, rather than talking, show it to you a little bit in pictures. So if we can have the first PowerPoint of 2014 Africa, and you're welcome to ask questions in the middle at any time. So if we can have that PowerPoint, then I'll go ahead and talk over it.
All right, it's on.
It's on. Oh, but I can't see it.
That's correct. You cannot. You have to have it on your computer. I'm sorry.
Okay. Can I do anything to get to see where you are?
Yes, I'll send you the website.
Just
Okay.
www.nissancommunications.com. Tell me when you're there. And
Okay, Debbie sent it to me.
Oh, good.
Sorry for the delay, everybody, and I'll be there in 1 second. Yeah, I'm connecting now. That's great. And yeah. Okay.
In the meantime, I'll tell you that Dr. Christina Chambreau wrote me an email with a question about Ebola. So you might have time to
Okay.
touch on that. I don't know.
We'll
And everybody is
try.
waving hello.
Hello, everybody. Okay, so
Okay,
it's
now,
just
Jeremy,
warming up.
this is delayed. So don't look too much, because if you tell me the next one, it's going to probably take about 5 or 10 seconds to show on your end.
Got you. Okay, cool. So if we go to the first slide, the one after our logo. But by the way, if you're looking at our logo, a lot of people ask us why, you know, Africa is kind of upside down. If it could.
Yes, we saw it. It's okay.
Okay.
We're back to it.
And the reason is that we believe in turning things around. I'm going to shut that website because I'm getting an echo and I don't know how to mute it.
We'll just tell you what the slides are showing.
Yeah.
So right now they're seeing the logo.
Yeah, that's okay. We believe that, you know, by turning Africa upside down in the logo, we can kind of symbolize turning Africa upside down from negative, in a way, on many ways, resources, disease, and life quality, and turn it upside down and make a change. In a way, from a feng shui point of view, it's better to have an arrow pointing upwards than downwards. So we've done that, and I believe having a logo like that makes a change, although it's quite funny that a lot of people always ask us, you know, why is it upside down? And we say from space it always, it can look any way you want it to look. So if we go to the next slide, that is a slide of Mount Kilimanjaro. And that's where we live. Actually, we see the mountain from our front garden every morning, and it's very, very beautiful. It's the highest mountain in the world from base, actually, if you start from level 0. A lot of people come here to climb that mountain, and it never looks the same. Every day is different. So it's actually a very beautiful area where we live, and we enjoy the open scenes, the safaris, and you know, beautiful trees, beautiful land, beautiful people. If we go to the next slide, which you'll see in a moment, you will see one of our clinics. This is actually in the hospital. I'm sitting there with one volunteer and our translator and a patient and her son. And it's great to work in the hospitals, really. It's a great joy. It took us a lot of time and effort to go through all the legalities to work in the hospital, but now we're working in several hospitals. And that really makes a great difference, because we work in cooperation with the doctors there. They're very happy to work with us. And they send us patients, and they give us information about the patients, so we can achieve a lot together. I'll say right now that we never interfere with conventional medication. Patients who are taking antiretroviral medicines for AIDS remain on those antiretrovirals. but we're able to achieve great results, even together with the antiretrovirals, to reduce side effects, to increase energy, and to reduce the symptoms, and to get great results also with the CD4, which is a measure of immunity. So Camilla works in one hospital, I work in another, and other than that, we have many clinics. Let me show you some of them. If we move to the next slide, you'll see, I think that is Camilla working in one of the clinics. And we have 15 clinics running. They might be in somebody's backyard. They might be in just a small village in a shop somewhere, or they might be in the Maasai lands, which are quite far away, very rural, but really very beautiful area. There's nothing there, of course, there's no electricity. We all have to have long-term batteries on our computer when we do this work. But we found that it's really very easy for us to open new clinics. Everybody wants another clinic, and we get many, many invitations. So actually, that is the easy part. We thought it would be difficult to open clinics, but there's more demand than we can actually supply. If we go to the next slide, that is just a picture of a patient with a kid. And the slide after that is Camilla in one of the daycare centers that we opened. We found when we came here that other than AIDS and a variety of other diseases, one of the biggest problems, of course, is poverty and malnutrition. That is especially true with the kids, and therefore we try our best to help that as well, removing obstacles to cure. So we supply food parcels to patients in need, and we also opened a couple of kindergarten schools where the kids get meals and fed and a good education. And then if we can, we try and pass them on to any other NGO that will have them, because they're quite expensive for us to run, but we've managed to do a few of those. So that's Camilla at one of the daycare centers that we opened. The next slide is of a young patient, and we can move to the slide after that, and I'm going to pass it on to Camilla.
Are we on at the pink card?
We are over here.
Okay. Well, this is just a shot of Eva and myself. Eva is the organizer from 2009. She has her own NGO, which is called WAFTA. It's Women Fighting Against AIDS. And she heard about our work and contacted us and said, I have 55 women who are all positive, they're all working together. They're all supporting each other, and there's a lot of sort of anti-stigma work that they do with each other, and they really need help. So we started, it's one of our earliest clinics with Eva in 2009 that we started, and we have, it's one of our largest clinics, and it's now become to include all the old bibis, the old ladies of the neighborhood, and all the also old mzes and babus, old men and old women who really nobody wants to help anywhere. And I really love, it's kind of organically moved into that way, because the ones with HIV, they all come still, but they are so much better in the 4 or 5 years that we've been working with them, that it's really just maintenance. You know, we're just maintaining their health, and they're doing really, really well. And then we get these old women and old men that I love treating, because nobody wants to give money to them. Everybody wants to give money to orphans. So it's great. The next slide is also from the daycare center that we started. And the one after that is a slide of a pink card, which is what we use in our clinics. We give a pink card to every patient who comes, and it's simply to record their symptoms. And because we have many volunteers coming, it could be that one time one homeopath is seeing that patient and another time someone else is. And this the patients come back with this card, and we can see what the previous homeopath gave in case there's some mix up with files or anything like that.
Okay, if we move to the next slide, that is Roger, our Rastafarian translator. He's been with us for nearly 5.5 years now. He's a great translator. He's very cool and relaxed, and we like to work with him. And he's also much more photogenic than I am. So usually when we have newsletters or shows, everybody sees and not myself, and I'm happy for that. The next slide is just one of our kindergarten teachers, with one of the kids. And the slide after that are just some patients, so we can AIDS just roll through some of those AIDS patients, just so you get the idea of who you work with. Then you get a slide of myself with one of the kids with AIDS at the hospital, and one of the children at our daycare center. The slide after that is Camilla with Eva, I think.
No, that's Mama Malia. That's another one of the organizers.
Yeah.
In the different clinics that we have 16 different clinics in various areas. We need organizers like this lady, Mama Malia, or Eva, or any other person who knows the area, who knows the people who need help. And they're really our right hand, because without them, we can't get to the people. It's HIV/AIDS is still such a stigma that you can't just go and open an HIV clinic because no one will walk through the door. But these women or men who organize our outreach, they are usually community workers or social workers. Some of them are positive themselves. And they know the group. They have the group together, and they tell them when we're coming. They organize the venue, and they help us with all the logistics.
Most of the patients that we treat with AIDS are women, and many of them are widows for various reasons. The men tend to pass away first. Maybe they get the AIDS beforehand. They have to go and work in the city a long way away and stay there for a long time, and they'll come back with AIDS and then infect the wife and a few other people. So, and the men are more susceptible to stigma, so they won't go for treatment. The problem is if you stigmatize, then people won't help you and won't work with you. And this is much worse for the AIDS widows, because the moment the husband dies, everybody says, okay, it's AIDS. Now they know it's AIDS because he's died young. And then they blame the wife for giving him AIDS invariably. And then because she's stigmatized, she has no work and no help, and they'll often take all her stuff away. But the worst problem will be a lack of energy. That is one of the main symptoms of AIDS. And that means that they can't work, because 95% of the people work in the fields. Now, if they don't have the energy to work a long day in the fields for $1.50 a day, then there's no food for the kids. And that means the kids will end up on the street or dead, and that the woman may well die. One of the great results we see with homeopathic treatment is an immediate increase in energy. It happens very, very quickly, and then they can get back to work. So actually that restoration of energy is a real lifesaver. And that goes for appetite as well. If there's no appetite and a person can't eat, they can't work. Excuse me. So that with homeopathy, you see a very quick restoration of appetite. And with more appetite and more energy, they can go to the fields and work again. And that is wonderful to see. The next picture is Camilla in one of her clinics. It's actually one of the nicer clinics. And you can see there that this woman is weighing herself. That's very important measure in AIDS. A lot of people will lose weight, and then we can see very dramatic increase in weight.
She's actually pregnant and HIV positive, and she lost her previous baby to AIDS, really. And this one, it was really nice to see. She delivered a healthy baby and HIV-free baby, and I think she's probably 2 now. That baby is a big girl. The next photo is of our pharmacy, and Roger is there in the front preparing remedies. I'm looking for some remedies. We have a new center, which is something that we didn't have for a few years, and we used to just do outreach, and we didn't really have anywhere to keep our staff for a hub, really. This was due to all sorts of legalities, but now we've got a center, and that is absolutely wonderful. We're so happy about it. We still do a huge amount of outreach, but it's great to have a solid place that is open from Monday to Saturday, 9 to 5, and there's a homeopath there available.
Okay, the next slide again, you see Roger. I told you Roger features much more than both of us, with a patient in one of the clinics. And the slide after that is again, if we run through a couple of slides, and you'll see patients in the hospital and patients waiting. So we can run through 3 or 4 more slides. Some of our clinics are urban, usually in very poor areas. Some of our clinics are in the countryside. Sometimes they're an hour away. It's quite a long drive, and we have a constant battle with cars. It's very difficult, to maintain old cars here. They get a beating every time we go somewhere because the roads are very rough. But I guess it's part of the fun. And you're going to come to a slide now where there's a group of students sitting in class. Can you see that? If you get there, and that is one of our educational programs. And this has really been a big thrust of our activity in the last 2 or 3 years. This is a group of young people from educational group in Tanzania, and they requested us to teach them homeopathy. We gave them a 6-week course in homeopathy. They enjoyed it very much. And we've actually written a homeopathic course specially made for Africa, because the way people think here is quite different in many ways than the way people think in the West. So the courses that were available weren't really suitable. So we designed this course, which has proved very successful, and we use it as a base for teaching. Out of these group of students that we're showing here, we selected the 2 best ones, and we are going to sponsor them to go to a homeopathic school in Kenya, where there's a full-time education. We work very closely with the school, and we try and sponsor 1 or 2 students a year to go there for the 3-year full-time education. It's to the standard of the London homeopathic faculty, so it's a very high standard. And we've now got a couple of people back with us after finishing the studies and actually working. This is part of our aim to make homeopathy self-sustainable over here in Tanzania, and the education is, of course, very important for that. So we hope that in the next few years we'll produce more and more local homeopaths. We also train quite a few people in first aid. We work a lot with clergy, with nuns and pastors and churches who are very keen on homeopathy. They face a lot of diseases alone. There are a lot of areas without medical help, so they love homeopathy. In our educational program, we have now had courses in Tanzania, but we've also had courses in Malawi. We've held 3 courses there, and in Kenya and in Uganda. So we try and spread homeopathy as far as we can, wide as we can in Africa. And we cooperate very closely with the other homeopathic groups in Africa. A few years ago, we organized the first Pan-African Congress, which was a great success. We had people from 16 countries and people coming in from all over Africa with a lot to learn and a lot in common. In the next slide, you'll just see me teaching this group. And in the slide after that, you will see me working in the hospital. That's our clinic in the hospital. It's outside, but that makes it nice and cool. The next slide is Irene, and she's our first graduate that we sponsored to go to homeopathic college in Kenya. She's graduated. She's now working in many of our clinics, and she is doing great. The next slide is Old Maasai in the Maasai land. That's about 2.5 hours drive from here. very, very rural, no water, no electricity, of course, extreme poverty, but they love homeopathy, and all the patients here love homeopathy. They really find it suits their mentality, it suits the way they think, there's no side effects. Of course, we offer it free to everybody, and all our work is voluntary. I have to say that we exist mainly on donations from mostly homeopaths who have been very kind and helpful. And what we can't make up from that, I supplement with my work teaching in Europe mainly. The next slide is one of our rural clinics, and that's Jane, a volunteer. We've had volunteers from all over the world. Jane is from Ireland. We have people from New Zealand, Australia, Germany. We've got people coming from Japan now. And it's wonderful to meet people. They learn a lot. Some people come for the long term, and some people come just for a short time as students. But we recommend volunteers to come for at least 2 or 3 months. Otherwise, they can't really get the hang of it. It takes a while to get to learn what's happening here. Okay, pause.
Sorry.
This next slide over here is.
That's just another outreach clinic, a very actually awful one. It's a really crappy place and a horrible dump. And I took my mother there, and she said to me, "Camilla, you must move home at once. I forbid you to work here." And it just was quite funny. But yeah. It's still, I love the place. There's really great people there, and it actually it's kind of nice because all our different outreach places have a different clientele, and this particular one has a lot of old women and old men who are HIV positive and who all claim that they got it when they were nursing their children who had AIDS. I don't exactly buy it. I think they've had it for a long time, and they just soldiered on and had it, but for stigma reasons they give whatever story there is for the reason. But yeah, the photo after is World AIDS Day. There's Michelle Pickering, who was a volunteer with us for over a year, and a Kenyan homeopath together with Roger. We always on World AIDS Day, the 1st of December, we go to the Maasai, and we do a big event there together with MMM sisters who work with the Maasai and HIV. And I mean, probably hundreds of Maasai come, and it's a real challenge to treat them all. The photo after that is of a Maasai lady. That's one of my best pictures, I think. I completely love that photo. It's the silhouetted one of a Maasai in a traditional dress. She's actually 72 years old, which is totally mind-blowing. And the photo after that is also from the Maasai, and this is he's trying on glasses. We took on an initiative to collect used eyeglasses for people, because it's a huge problem here, and it's a huge problem that anybody over 45 actually can't see. You know, at least they can't see to read. You know, people become short-sighted. We all know it from Europe as well. So can you imagine if you can't read, you can't use your mobile phone, or if you're a teacher, you can't teach, you can't fix exams or tests or anything like that. So we started this. We have people donating their old eyeglasses from all over the world. And every time Jeremy travels or I travel, we'll come back with a massive bag full of glasses. And we hand them out for free, and people try them on before they come and see us. And we give them something to read, and they check it out, and Bob's your uncle. So
yeah, the people actually they love the eyeglasses. You know, it's a joy to see them you know, trying them on and finally finding one that works for them, a pair that works, and how happy they are that they can finally see and read. The next photo is of I think Camilla getting stuck in the mud on the way to one of the clinics. We have 2 seasons here. One is dry and one is rainy. And when it's rainy, boy, it's difficult to get anywhere in the cars. There's some clinics we can't even get to. It's like trying to sail a ship on the road, and you often get stuck over there. I'd like to say, generally, if yeah, we can just jump to the next slide. That's just one of our other clinics out in the stick somewhere, and then to the following one, our logo. And I'd like to just go over what our mission here is in Africa, what we want to achieve. We have several goals, really. The first one is to treat as many patients as possible. We focus on AIDS, but AIDS is not the only thing. We treat a lot of other diseases as well. There's a lot more increase in chronic disease now, a lot more diabetes, a lot more blood pressure, especially as Western food is starting to come into Africa. People drink a lot of sugar-rich drinks, and it's starting to show, really. We treat cancers, we treat backache, we treat injury. And one of the most wonderful projects that we have is treating abdominal surgery. This is Camilla's project, so I'll let her tell you about it.
Well, we saw in one of the hospitals where we work that I actually did the rounds with the surgeon who was the head of the hospital, and he showed me a couple of cases of abdominal surgery, and I said, would you like me to give you something for that? So they said sure, and they asked permission from the patients. So I gave them Bellis perennis, 12C, 3 times a day. The next week, the doctor says to me, wow, that was completely incredible. They were all discharged like in 3 days, and they did it incredibly well, and they healed much, much faster, and they were in much less pain. So then we started a study, really a small study, in a different hospital, and we had bottles that were marked as A and bottles marked as B, and B was placebo, or A was placebo and B was serum. Anyway, the doctors figured out within 12 hours which one was the real stuff and which one was just placebo. And they just chucked out all the A bottles and gave the real Bellis perennis to everybody. The difference between the placebo one and the homeopathy was so dramatic that you can just see it. I mean, the way they do operations here in Tanzania is that they operate Tuesday, Wednesday. So all the operated people, they lie in the same ward, chuck, next to each other. And you could walk in there and you could tell that one had Bellis, that one didn't, that one had, that one had, that one didn't, that one didn't, that one had. By the time the homeopathically treated ones were up and about and showering and walking to the shop, buying snacks, the others who didn't get homeopathy were only able to move their eyeballs. So it's a really wonderful thing, and we're continuing with it. And now the hospital has just adopted Bellis, and they have it as their standard procedure, and they are so happy. And their comments are that since the Bellis, they don't have any complications. They don't have anybody coming back with problems, and everything just goes smoothly. So we're really happy about that.
Our second mission, after treating as many patients as possible, was to find the genus epidemicus for AIDS. And I think we've done very well with that. We've identified a group of remedies, about between 12 and 15 remedies that are quite effective in most AIDS situations, at least here in Africa. We don't know about how it would be in America or Europe so much. So it makes it much easier for us to choose remedies for patients. We've done that in a very systematic way, following Hahnemann's instructions about treating epidemics. It took us 3 years, but it makes teaching volunteers how to treat AIDS much easier, and they can become very effective very quickly. Not every patient falls into the category, but I'd say about 80% of patients you can treat very well with remedies in that genus epidemicus. So that makes education much more easy. And our third role is education, as I've explained to you. We want to make homeopathy widespread and well-known in Africa. It's the right medicine for here. It's effective. It treats the whole people. People love that. It's spiritual. People love that. And it's very cheap and cost-effective without side effects. So that is our third part of the mission. And finally, our fourth part of the mission is to show the world what homeopathy can do. And there's two ways to do that. The first of those is media, and we've had a few movie crews out here, and I'll show you a short movie that one of these crews did recently from the Homeopathy Action Trust, and that is very effective. I'm also collecting a lot of videos of patients with great results, which once I have 50 to 100 of those, I'm going to let them make them open on YouTube, but a lot of them are up there if you have the link. I'll show you some of them today. The second part of showing to the world what homeopathy can do is research. We're working very hard towards research. It's been a long-term mission. There are a lot of obstacles on the way, but we will get there. And I hope that those two sides, media and research, can prove the point that we all want to make, all our homeopaths in the world. There's a question that came in here. Do any AIDS patients talk about being vaccinated for smallpox in the 70s? I have never heard that, really. I don't think they would not remember, and they wouldn't know which was a smallpox, which was a polio, or anything else. The treatment in hospitals here is very different. People will go into surgery and they won't even know what was done, if they had their uterus out or their gallbladder out or anything. It's very, very different. So I doubt if anybody will know or remember if they had smallpox. They just know that maybe they had an injection for something. Have you ever heard that, smallpox vaccination? No, they would know that they had an injection, but they wouldn't know what it was for. So finally, for the last couple of slides, there is our logo again. And the slide following that, let me know, Debbie, when you've caught up. This is things that I do in my spare time. If I have any spare time over here, the QREP, which is a repertory of mental qualities. And I'll talk about that if we have time. And finally, my series of books that I'm writing on the noble gases, which I've been investigating for the last 25 years. So we can chat about that if we have time as well. So I want to move on to some of the cases, but are there any other questions, Debbie, at this stage?
I think we're good. I know that Dr. Kubushan is anxious to say hello to you, and just so many people are here wishing you well. I don't know how many of these people you know, Betsy and Navneet and Phyllis Georgic, and just everyone who has followed you so many years. And so just keep going, and we want to fill up our time with your work.
Okay, good. So what I want to do is to show you a couple of cases and to try and give you the general idea of what it is to treat AIDS over here. We've seen so many AIDS cases. We must have seen between us about 5,000 AIDS cases. So we really know that disease, and we know the symptoms, and especially Camilla and myself can identify, remedies for patients quite quickly. And that's more so with the remedies from the Genus Epidemicus. But I'm going to show you the first case. This is of a patient who had AIDS for quite a long time, and we saw her, and she did very, very well on the remedy, but then because she lives a long way away, I mean, people have to walk to the clinic or the hospital, and it might be a 30-kilometer walk. So as long as they're well, they often won't come back, and that can be a good thing, but it can be a problem in terms of kind of follow-ups. But we hope that they will. And she did very well on the remedy, and then after a year and a half, the symptoms started returning. And you'll see that as this case unfolds. I want to say that we use mostly the 12C potency daily. We found that's very effective. You need to give a daily remedy because it'll be difficult for people to just go on one dose of a remedy and then you might not see them for a year or a year and a half. So they need to have a supply that will often last for about 6 weeks or so. And the good effects from a remedy, if it works well, will last anything from 6 months to over a year. It's amazing how well the people over here respond. I must say that people in Africa, for a variety of reasons, respond much better to homeopathy than people in the West. They see you just give them a remedy and they're going to start getting better very, very quickly and very, very dramatically. Now, I'm showing you this case to show you what happens with the CD4. And the CD4 is the kind of measure of the aspect of the white blood cell count that is damaged by the HIV virus. That is the part that actually our immune system uses to fight off disease. And the CD4 count in a healthy person will be somewhere around 1,000. Could go up to 1,500, it might be 800, but it's something around that. When a person is infected by HIV, it will start moving towards 500, by which time it's diagnosed as AIDS. And under 250, they will start antiretroviral treatment, which they will have to be on for life. So most of the patients we see, I'd say 90% are on antiretroviral treatment. They've probably had AIDS for anything from 7 to 10 years. AIDS is not the immediate killer it used to be. It's more a slow, long-term, difficult chronic disease now. So we see good rises in CD4, and this is a case in point. I don't know if I'll be able to see the case with you. I'll try that website again. But Debbie, could you go ahead and
yes,
show
we
that?
can show it. Amnon, I
Oh.
think, do you know the name of this video you're going to show next?
There it is.
Okay.
Saw her last time, 2012, a year and a half ago. How did she do after I saw her?
She's saying on homeopathy she was doing great. After having the remedy, she came to check her CD4 was 996.
Is there sound with
And
this?
some days ago, when she came back, that's when she checked out. She had 223.
Okay. So before she had the homeopathy, how much was her CD4?
When she came here before, her CD4 was 112.
Yes.
And then that's when she started using homeopathy.
Yeah.
And then the CD4 increased to 582, 893, and then 996.
Yeah.
But it has decreased since she stopped taking homeopathy.
Ah, so she's taking her regular medicine.
Yeah, she's taking, but
since we haven't seen her for a year and a half,
it has decreased to 223.
Yeah.
That's a good improvement from homeopathy.
Very nice.
112.5.
Ask her how the homeopathy, did it help her while she was taking it in other ways?
Na ulipokuwa unatumia haya matibabu ilikusaidia hivyo hivyo?
Ilikusaidia sana.
Ilikusaidia sana.
Kwa sababu saa zingine moyo ulikuwa unaenda mbio, kiuno, mgongo, nilimweleza hapa. Kutoka nitumie hiyo dawa hamna. Kutoka CD4 zimeshuka nasikia kiuno, mgongo.
She's saying since she started using homeopathy, no more heart palpitations, pain in the waist, back. But when she's lasted for 1.5 years now, the pains are back.
How long since they've been back?
Hayo maumivu yamekuwa hapo kwa muda gani?
Yani kwa sasa hivi sio kwa muda.
She's saying it's 6 months now for the pains to come back. And she said when she was using homeopathy, she was really energetic. She used to work for long hours.
Yes.
But now she can't work for more than 2 hours or more. If she works for a long period, she gets dizziness and gets vision dim from the eyes due to the vertigo.
And all that was better when she took homeopathy?
Na hizo dalili ambazo umezisema zai zilikuwa zinapata nafuu ulipokuwa unatumia tiba.
Ndio, nilikuwa sioni chochote.
Yeah. It was all better when having homeopathy.
Okay. How is your appetite?
Hamu ya kula iko aje? She's saying before her appetite was good while using homeopathy. Now her appetite is decreasing.
Hey, the last time I saw her was a year and a half. Asked her how long she remained well on the homeopathy.
She's saying since homeopathy, she was doing good for the 6 months.
Okay, is that the end of the video there, Debbie?
Yeah.
She said that she was good for 6 months at the
Yeah.
end. That's how long the homeopathy worked for. Yes, that's
Yeah,
over now.
okay, great. So the reason I'm showing you this case is to show you, first of all, how well the homeopathy works and how long it lasts. She had the remedy which would have lasted her for a month, a daily dose of 12C, and then she remained well for a year after that. And then it took her another 6 months to, get to find us in one of the clinics. It's not always easy because communications are very difficult there. People just come and they see if you're there or not. But the amazing thing in this case is how the CD4 responded. When she came to us, the CD4 was 254. Now, this is after at least 3 or 4 years of antiretrovirals, and she wasn't responding anymore. That means she's in treatment failure. A lot of patients, after being on antiretrovirals, go into treatment failure. What you have to understand is that in the modern world, you have many lines of antiretrovirals. So that when one stops being effective, they are changed to the next line and to the next line again, and you might have 15 or 16 lines. But over here in Africa, really, most people only have access to one line. And after a couple of years, it will start to wear off and not be effective. Then the CD4, which responds well in the beginning, starts to drop, and there's not much you can do about it, and they are on the slippery slope downwards, maybe even deathwards. So with homeopathy, you can see that it's not from the antiretrovirals because she'd been on them for years and it was just going down. The moment she started homeopathy, the CD4 shot up from 254 to 956, which is really amazing. That's an incredible result, better than can be achieved with antiretrovirals even. Once she stopped coming for over a year and a half, it started slipping down again. Now, I have the second part of this video, which I haven't edited yet because we just saw her not long ago. But when she came back, I repeated her remedy, and she took it again for a month. She came back 3 months later, and her CD4 had gone up from 254 to 1,650. And I have that on video, and that is actually totally unbelievable because that's more than a healthy person's CD4. It's an incredible rise, and if I wouldn't have seen it with my own eyes, I'd find it difficult to believe. But that's the kind of result you can get with homeopathy, both on symptoms and immunity. I will say this patient had elapse. Elapse is one of the remedies we see here. In fact, when I see a possible snake remedy, I'll usually go for elapse. This is partly because it just came up in the symptoms. In the Janus epidemic was more strongly, might have been a nosebleed from one side or menstrual symptoms or mental characteristics or dreams. But we identified that actually elapse seems to be work better than all the other snakes in AIDS over here. So that's just the case to show you what is possible to do from both the symptoms and the CD4. Now I want to show you another case, and in this other case I want to put a little bit of a spotlight on working with myosins. It's actually very straightforward and very clear working with myosins over here, and very, very helpful. It's none of those kind of mental, emotional pictures that people have developed these days. It's very, very practical. You can see within the first 3 minutes of the case if a person is tubercular or psoric or syphilitic or sometimes what I call the decomposition myosin. which is another concept. But you might see it from the physical symptoms if they are centered on the lungs and breathing and cough. Oh, I see. Okay, that's not the YouTube. This is the one he has, Debbie. It's the case of 969, I think, or 929.
9-6. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So so you can see very quickly if the patient is tubercular, or if the patient is psoric, then they might have a lot of itching and diarrhea and lack of appetite and weakness and vertigo, or they might be syphilitic with mouth ulcers or bone pains, etc. And once you identify that, it makes it quite easy to find a remedy. So let me show you another case, and we can see the myasm quite clearly in this case.
Diagnosed 2012 with a CD4 307 and started antiretrovirals at the same time. Then CD4 went to 215, 249, not responding.
Okay, he's showing something now.
Shida nini inasumbua? CD4 is going down and not going up.
Yeah.
Shida ingine?
Kabuta nikitumia dawa saa ingine nakuwa napata kizunguzungu.
When he takes therapies, he gets vertigo sometimes. He's saying when he does heavy work, he gets pain in all joints.
In the?
All joints.
All the joints?
They say when he urinates, he gets pain at the beginning of the urethra. Then she gets burning pains.
Wakati wa kukojoa.
During urination.
Sasa huwa napata usingizi.
He's saying sleep is good, but in the morning he feels tired.
Asubuhi nachoka.
Ndio. Yeah, like unrefreshed sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dreams of being involved in accident, either car accident or motorcycle accident. Dreams of being chased by people that he doesn't know.
Yaani labda nimevamiwa na uoga, lakini sasa nashtuka mtoto nakuta kumbe bado nimelala.
He's saying sometimes he even dreams of people trying to kill him.
So what complaints did we write?
Complaint number 1 was CD4 going down. Number 2, weakness whole body.
Weakness, whole body and impotence. Number 3. Giving creosote. What?
Yeah, lama.
Because this is a syphilitic case. The whole focus is genitourinary, right?
Yeah.
He's got the urethral stuff, and he's got the wanting erections, and he's dreaming of chase, and he's dreaming of accidents. So it's more a syphilitic issue, right? And you can also see by his disposition, he's kind of grim and gruff and not smiley and stuff like that, right? So it leaves me creosote, which is a syphilitic genitourinary remedy with a lot of cough.
Okay.
Okay, that's the end of that.
Okay. So you see, in this case, sorry, let me just get back on Skype here.
Jeremy. Oops.
Okay, am I back on now?
Yes, you are. Jeremy.
Okay, cool.
Jeremy.
All right. Yeah.
One thing, I cannot do anything with these links. It's the wrong format.
Yeah, I got you. I got that. That's okay. We'll manage.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So, this case was a case of creosote, but what is quite clear to see there is the syphilitic component, because there's a lot of genital involvement. He had urinary symptoms, he had low sexual energy, and he also had, I don't know if you managed to see that in the end, that kind of a syphilitic nose that is sunken over here at the root of the nose, and bone pains, joint pains, so that when I repertoire it and it comes out to a few different remedies, I will go to the syphilitic remedy out of there. If I have a choice between sulfur and creosote, then I will go to creosote, which is more syphilitic, and he actually did very, very well on that remedy. I don't know if the follow-up is on there or was at the end of the video. I think we chose the wrong one there, Debbie, maybe.
It looks like he's trying to load another video.
Yeah, okay.
The only one that I have left is the Linda case.
Linda case is
okay,
the last.
So hang on with Linda's case. And yeah, that's fine. So I hope you managed to see that. I'm kind of not exactly seeing what we're doing. So was that okay there?
I'm not playing it yet. Do you want me to play Linda?
No,
Not
Debbie,
yet.
Debbie, could you see the previous case okay and understand what was
Yes,
happening
we
there?
saw the syphilitic case very well at the beginning with your chart,
cool.
and at the end pointing to the nose, showing the syphilitic physical.
So that's just to give you an idea about the miasms. So you know, you might see, for instance, psoric cases, and that would often be remedies such as causticum would be very, very common. It's a great remedy for weakness, and you often get numbness, peripheral neuropathy, lack of appetite, and it's often connected to long-term, anxiety, not careful of cares, not having enough food, having a disease, caring for others, nursing the sick. So causticum is a fantastic remedy, and I found that very, very good for AIDS in the West as well. Another remedy from the psoric variety that we see is zinc, for instance, which will often have, again, a lot of numbness, but there'll very commonly be there some kind of a dream of persecution or being chased. And this is one of the things we found working with AIDS in Africa. There's a lot of general symptoms without any modalities or strange, rare, and peculiars. And there's not very many mentals at all. But the one thing that we've got that really helps us through many of the cases is the dreams.
Yeah, it's very often the case that you sit in clinic and people come and they give you a 3-line case. I mean, there's nothing in it, or there's very little in it, and it's very difficult to take the case anywhere from that info. And in the West, we're very used to a lot of mental, emotional symptoms, which we don't get in Africa at all. It doesn't mean that people don't have it. It just means that people are not used to dwelling about that kind of stuff. They're not used to talking about their emotions. There's more pressing things to do, like getting food or bringing in water or whatever. So no one's ever asked them, what kind of a person are you, or what makes you sad or angry or anything like that. So it comes to them as a kind of a shock or a surprise. And we usually get sort of one-line answers saying, I'm angry, or I'm a very polite person, or I'm sad. And that's about as far as it goes. So it's come to us as a great relief that then when we ask about dreams, people get all happy and animated, and they really love to tell about their dreams. And I think the reason is because they don't really distinguish between dream world and real world as much as we do. They very much feel that what happens in dreams is reality. So, for example, if they dream that they find money in the street and they hide it under their mattress, or someone gives them a lot of money and they put it in a pot, they are very surprised to see in the morning that the money is not there. So they are very involved with the dream life. And with AIDS, people get very, very specific dreams, and they are a result of the disease, and they are also a result of the ARVs, the antiretrovirals that they are taking. And we can almost diagnose people. I always say that we're better than the rapid HIV test, because if someone tells us their dreams, we know if they're positive or not. And we can tell from the type of dreams whether they're positive or not, but also the dreams really guide us in finding the right remedies. And one remedy that comes to mind is salmon. It's a remedy you wouldn't imagine really to be giving a lot in Africa. I mean, the fish doesn't even swim around this
Did you say salmon?
Yeah, oncorhynchus, salmon.
And I know you did the proving of that.
Yeah, that was the first proving that I did, so I know the remedy really well, and it was a surprise suddenly to see that people are dreaming of rivers. Okay, there are rivers here, but a lot of dreams of rivers and being pursued and going to the river, and the river is flooded and they can't go over it, or they are in a river and they can't swim, or they're swimming, or they're going somewhere but they can't get to where they're going to, sort of unsuccessful efforts. Very salmon type dreams. And if that comes together with any sort of hormonal issues, menstrual problems, infertility, and you give salmon, it's almost a 100% hit. It's incredible. It's one of our main generous remedies for this epidemic.
And salmon is
Here I have a question.
Sorry?
Yes, I'm Dr. Deepak Sharma.
Just a second, Jeremy. Let's let Dr. Sharma say something. Go ahead, Dr. Sharma.
Yes. If you are finding the dreams of flooding and the dreams of river, so did you find any dream of the snakes in these cases?
Yeah, sometimes you get also dreams of snakes in these cases, but the problem here is that dreams of snakes is quite common because people here are very, very, very afraid of snakes. So you can almost not even use that rubric because there are a lot of snakes here and a lot of them are lethal. And if you ask about fears, there is not a person who doesn't say that they're not afraid of snakes. It's their number one fear, so it's almost unusable. Yeah.
Actually, I want to share my study on the dream of snakes. And I found that if a person is seeing the dream of water, dream of river and a flood, he will definitely had a dream of a snake. And so I want to confirm it. It is another topic, but
great.
Is this a relation with in between the dream of a snake and dream of rivers or dream of water?
Excellent. Thank you very much. That's very useful.
Yes.
So salmon would be one of our tubercular remedies usually, but there'll be very common remedies like kali-carb is a very common tubercular remedy for AIDS. We'll use, as I said, from the snake's elaps more, but in syphilitic cases where it might be mercury. We see a lot of basilinum, and that will typically be with ringworm. Is a very, basilinum is the first and most successful remedy in ringworm. And then we have a miasm that I mentioned before, not commonly kind of defined as that. I call it decomposition, where everything is totally breaking down. It's really the end of the road, and it's they're quite close to death, and it's very low CD4. It might be a CD4 of 3 or 1. So there's no immune system at all. And maybe the organs are collapsing. But often, strangely, with that, the patients can be quite cheerful and optimistic. And in those cases, we've used Californium muriaticum, that's element number 98, and with incredible success. It's been one of our best remedies for AIDS. I kind of came to it from a thought process. I've written articles about it. You can get it from my website, dynamis.edu. In the proving section, there's an article there about it. And it's, we believe that radioactivity and AIDS have a lot in common. And that's really proved itself as a wonderful remedy.
Yeah, in terms of other remedies maybe that we use a lot, one of the top ones as well is diamond, adamas. which is another tubercular one, and it's a very big one for all the lung affections and coughs. And if you have a cough that's lasted for longer than 3 months, it's probably our number one remedy in those cases. Of course, not in every single case, but it's a really big one. So diamond is something that I think all of you should study and know in your practice for coughs, at least.
Okay, before we show the last case, there were a couple more cases, but it kind of didn't work out technically, but I think that's okay.
We can go a little bit longer if you're still up to it.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to show you one more case, and then we can open up for any questions or any other subjects that you'd like to talk about. What I'd like to say is what I really wanted you to see is our the short movie that was made by the Homeopathic Action Trust while they were here, which I was planning to show but hasn't worked out. So Debbie, would it be able to send everybody the link for that?
I can put the video up on Homeopathy World Community along with the announcement and the archive of the show.
Great, thank you so much. So so you'll get to see that movie. There's a 3-minute version and an 8-minute version, and we're very proud of them. These movies reflect what we do very nicely, and thank you to the Homeopathy Action Trust for doing that. So I'm going to finish off with one more case, and this is a case of a lady who's been diagnosed with AIDS for quite a few months and on antiretrovirals, but she's in a very bad way. As you'll see, her CD4 has dropped to 3. Later, it turned out that it was actually a CD4 of 1, which really means no immune system at all, with quite severe symptoms. And you will see how she did on this video. So please go ahead with that last one. That's Linda.
I'd like to know what your condition is now, what the diagnosis is first of all.
It's HIV.
Yeah.
Stage 4.
Yeah.
And I had also TB.
And active TB now?
TB. And I had malaria.
What is the CD4?
3.
3?
Yeah.
So tell us first of all, what are the things that are bothering you the most now?
It's just I feel nausea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel nausea. Sometimes I'm hungry. I'm really hungry. I need to eat something.
Mm-hmm.
But when I start like the first spoon, second spoon, I just can't do it anymore. I feel like throwing out and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. The appetite has become worse.
Yeah, the appetite has become worse, and the nausea, and the dizziness, the emptiness, weakness. I can walk, right? But I need support. When I got really, really sick, I was admitted, and I was unconscious for about 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just woke up and I was like in the hospital, and I was wondering, and where am I now? What am I doing? What happened for the past 5 days? Yeah, so like I lost memory of, the window of 5 days. I don't know what happened. Yeah, totally lost. Yeah, as far as the RV is concerned, but it's just the side effects.
Yes.
Yeah, just the side effects. Yeah.
Okay.
And the dizziness.
Things that are bothering you now most are what would you say? Start from most important to least important.
Loss of appetite.
Yeah.
Nausea.
Yeah.
Dizziness.
Yeah.
Weakness.
Yeah.
I was vomiting, but I could sense, I could sense the taste of the, of the medication in the.
Yeah.
I was just coughing. I was just coughing for a long time, Eyes, my eyes are really, really itchy. All the time, morning or even when I'm sleeping. Very, very itchy. Sometimes I have to put cold water. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes like they cannot open. Yeah.
Yeah.
To put cold water every now and then. And I also have another problem with the ear, but although they said it's the medication,
Yeah.
but this, I cannot hear properly. Like when you are talking, if I close this, I can hardly hear you.
I see you have quite strong skin eruptions now. Is that a new thing or old thing?
No, this is a new thing.
A new thing. Since the ARV or before the ARV?
Since the ARV.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And it's itching?
Yeah, it's very, very, very itchy, especially at night. Very, very itchy, especially at night.
But you didn't have that before the ARV?
No, I did not have that before. No. So it could be even more than 6 months. Yeah, so because of the dust and the weather, I thought it was allergy, but not knowing that the TB was eating me slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And now they gave you TB medications and antiretroviral medications at the same time?
at the same time.
You're taking both?
Yeah, I'm taking both, yeah.
You know, that's not... When you were having the cough, was there anything that made it better or worse? Any circumstances?
evening.
In the evening? The cough was worse in the evening?
Yeah, especially when I get home. Cough until I won't be able to eat. Whatever I eat just comes out. Say from 6 onwards.
From 6 onwards. Yeah. So it would get better later in the night?
Yeah, it will get better in the night.
Okay.
Yeah, the appetite vanishes as soon as I start eating.
Yeah.
I crave for something, it comes here and I'm like, wait.
Vertigo, kizunguzungu?
Kizunguzungu, yes, lot of that, yeah. Kizunguzungu.
Lots of kizunguzungu. When do you get that the most?
Like when I stand up now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or when I'm walking? Yeah. Now my skin is peeling.
And that's since antiretrovirals or before?
Since
antiretrovirals. Okay. Show me your tongue. Okay. They say there's some fungus.
Yeah, they say throat fungus through, yeah.
Through the stomach?
So I had an asthma attack, like that was March last year. And then they diagnosed that I also had, what is this, pneumonia?
Pneumonia?
Yeah.
Do you have any dreams?
Just normal, like what happened during the day. Sometimes you remember what happened, sometimes you won't. Like you're at work with colleagues, like you're at home with friends, like you're in the church singing, and yeah.
And how are you feeling mentally generally? What is your mental state?
I think it's stable.
Stable?
Yeah, stable.
Yeah. You're not having fear, anxiety, anything like that?
No, stable.
Were you prone to any kind of emotional disturbance before? No.
No. I'm friendly. I'm free. Yeah. Home person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just normal.
You have any fears?
No, I don't have
the
fear.
dark or high place or snake
No,
or
I don't hide anything. I just talk freely.
No wasi-wasi?
No wasi-wasi.
Anxiety?
Yeah, I'm straightforward.
And how long do you think you've had the HIV?
I don't know, probably, I don't know, maybe 4 years, I don't know. Yeah.
If there was one thing we could help now the most, what would that be?
At least able to eat.
To eat?
And take my medication,
Yeah.
Okay, I believe that something was just coming up now, repertory.
Yeah. So I saw you, I think, 2 weeks ago last time.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and you've still been taking the medicine?
Yes,
Yeah.
medicine, yes.
How have you been on the whole?
Yeah, super.
Super?
Super.
Really?
Yeah, super.
Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, my skin has improved. You see, my skin has improved.
Yeah, show me.
You see, the other time I was like a snake.
Yes.
Yeah, I sleep well. I don't sleep much in the afternoon because I used to like sleep so much in the afternoon, but now I don't. So after eating, I'll go and get some breeze, and in the evening I would walk up to the corner. You know the corner, like you're going into your place there.
That's a long way.
Yeah. Just walk. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's right. I went to the hospital twice, and I was just alone. Nobody, hold my hand or anything.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
And you taking the regular antiretrovirals?
Yes, 8 o'clock.
How is that going?
Now it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's good.
Yeah. Okay, good. And how is the nausea?
Gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
Great. And the appetite?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, very good.
And the nausea? No nausea.
No.
And the fungus in the throat?
Gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. And any dizziness?
No dizziness. Even if I walk long, no dizziness.
Okay. Yeah. How is the memory?
Memory is good.
Good.
Now I'm remembering even things that I did not remember. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Okay. And the energy?
Yeah, good.
Good.
You can lift even a bucket.
Okay. That's great. You can walk okay?
Yeah, walk okay.
Yeah. Okay. And the skin is changed?
Yeah, it's just the face.
Yeah.
But the body, the whatever is, I'm just waiting for the face to come back, to go back,
Okay. And any cough?
No cough, just one cough, maybe one cough per day, 1 or 2 coughs per day.
So it's improved?
Yeah, it's improved. It has improved.
Yeah, okay. The eyes itching?
No.
No,
I never had that. I had forgotten about it.
You forgot about it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sleep?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Okay. So everything very nice?
Yeah, everything very nice. I
right.
promised you when you come back, everything will be,
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the end?
Nope.
More?
Wow, you're looking so good. Nice. You look fantastic.
Unbelievable. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
Good. Yeah.
So tell me, how have you been?
Oh, wonderful. As you can see. It explains by itself. Yeah.
It
wonderful.
does.
Yeah, no problem. Super.
So happy.
Yeah,
you look so good. I wouldn't have recognized you in the street, I tell you.
Yeah, even my doctors, when I go to KSMC, they don't recognize me.
Yeah.
Kabisa, they don't. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So tell me, how has your health been on the whole?
Very good, honestly, unbelievable. Even better than when I was, before I got sick.
Yeah.
Because my weight has come up.
Yeah.
This is how I'm supposed to be, 64K.
Yeah.
Of course, I just want to maintain this now. I don't want to go. Yeah. The CD4 is going up as well because it was 1.
Yeah.
And now it's 150 something. But the doctor said, for this short period, actually I've done great. It's very good,
it's 150.
Yeah, 150 from
wow,
1.
that's very high.
Yeah.
For you,
it's
starting.
Yeah, imagine. Yes. Yeah. So even the doctors was impressed. Yeah.
Great. You taking the antiretrovirals?
Yeah, I'm taking that. Yeah, but the TB therapy, I'm done. 6 months, so I'm done with it. I'm not taking it anymore.
No sign of TB?
No, kabisa.
Yeah.
No.
No cough?
No cough, no allergy, no nothing. Kabisa. Yeah. I'm even healthier now than before. Yeah, no problem, no complications, nothing. My appetite is. I have to control my appetite now.
Great. Yeah. You put on weight nicely. You look good. You look good, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have any problem at all.
Nausea?
Nausea, nothing. Nothing, kabisa. Yeah.
Itchy eyes?
Itchy eyes, I've never even experienced it again.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing again. Yeah, itchy
eyes.
No.
How's your energy?
Good, I feel great. Yeah.
Good. You can walk?
Yeah, kabisa. I walk, I travel, I do everything.
No vertigo?
No. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, I can't believe it myself. My skin is come back, the allergy, the whatever, the itchy, everything is gone.
Is there anything bothering you at all?
No.
Now, you feel strong?
I feel very, very strong. Yeah, I feel very strong, energetic.
All right. Fantastic. How is the skin?
Or they
Itching skin, legs.
yeah. No.
No.
Everything is
Legs
back
are
to
good?
normal.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like good. Yeah, you see, everything is back to
It
normal.
used to be very reluctant
very
to
eruptive,
escape,
yeah,
and
like,
stuff.
like it was scaling and something, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's
Great.
back to normal. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. What can I say? Thanks to you.
What do you think of homeopathy?
Oh, it's great, actually. You know, I think, yeah, he did a great job, you know, yeah, because the vomiting, the loss of appetite, the weakness, the everything, just
Great.
So the appetite just, got up there then.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You quit it pretty quickly, no?
Yes, imagine,
Yeah.
imagine, it's a miracle. I can't believe it myself.
Wow.
Is that the end?
Yep.
Okay, one question that folks have been asking is if they're getting dry pellets or water doses.
Sorry, Debbie, what was the question?
The question was dry pellets or water doses.
It's water doses. We put them in little bottles. We melt a couple of tablets or the alcohol tincture in little bottles, and they shake that and succuss it daily, and that's what they take.
Okay. And my question is, how long will all of this improvement last? I mean, she is looking so fabulous from her initial image that we saw.
I think, even she had the medicine, the zinc, for the first month after I saw, and then I didn't see her for 4 months, and she just continued to improve. So the improvement can last, in my experience, between a year, maybe sometimes a bit longer than a year. It's a long time. They do very well.
And then they have to come back for you to check them and see what they need.
Yeah, hopefully they do come back, and they'll come back once the symptoms get bad again and they remember that it's the homeopathy that made them better, then they'll finally come back. But like I say, the difficulty is always communication, because these people might live nowhere without a cell phone, and they'll just walk into the town, 20 kilometers, and see if we're there on that day. So, we try to make it happen, and usually in the end we manage to meet each other. That's why I like work in the hospital, because that's very regular with regular follow-ups. The villages is more difficult from that point of view.
And you're working in many hospitals?
We're working in mainly in 2 hospitals, yes, but we have some access to others as well.
Okay. I think earlier someone was asking about zinc phos, and Dr. Kulbushan says that zinc is working wonderfully for psoriasis. So, and Steve is asking why you selected zinc.
Well, in this case, I don't know if you managed to see the repertory over there. It was quite quick. We can always post it back on your website or something if people want the repertory. But let me explain that I took quite common symptoms there, like numbness, weakness, lack of appetite, nausea with, vomiting soon after eating. But the key symptom was a clean tongue. And I don't know if you managed to see the clean tongue. She showed her tongue for a second. Now, if you haven't seen a lot of AIDS cases, you wouldn't know. But in nearly all AIDS cases, the tongue is heavily coated, or maybe discolored white or discolored black. So it's quite unusual for a patient in that bad a way, especially with a fungal infection going through down from the mouth into the throat, to have a clean tongue. So the strange, rare, and peculiar in this case is as related to the epidemic, and that's Hahnemann's instructions in paragraph 102, is to look for the strange, rare, and peculiar in relationship to the epidemic. So, that's a relatively small and distinct rubric, and that helped me choose zinc, other than, you know, we know it very well as one of the great remedies for AIDS.
Okay.
Okay,
They
sir,
say thank
I
you
have a
about
question.
that. Somebody is
Just a second.
asking
Just
about
Debbie,
lycopodium.
Debbie, just a second. Go ahead, Dr. Sharma.
Okay.
Yes, hello. Sir, I have a question. Are you using any homeopathic prophylactic medicine for yourself and for the staff?
Of course, we have to use homeopathy all the time uh, to keep us going and to keep us healthy. And, you know, we treat the staff and the volunteers, and we treat a lot of the staff at the hospital, the doctors, the nurses, everybody wants homeopathy. So we have our hands full with that as well, yes. I mean, without homeopathy, how
No,
would we keep
I,
going doing all this?
I want to any specific home prophylaxis medicine for the AIDS.
You see, it's very difficult to have homeoprophylaxis for AIDS because, you know, it's just too chaotic, the situation here. If you started dishing people out remedies for AIDS, and then, you know, they'd have to go and maybe have sex with somebody that had AIDS, and you don't know who that would be or when that would be. And then, you know, they'd have to have a checkup, which they probably don't want to have unless they have symptoms, and that could take years. So it's too chaotic. But if I were to choose any prophylactic for AIDS just without clinical experience of prophylactic in this area, I would go for Californium. Maybe
okay,
zinc,
thank you,
but
sir.
Californium
Thank you
would
so
be
much.
number one. Yeah. And my element 98.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone? Do you see? So this is really incredible, the demonstration of improvement, and how long it lasts. I have to plug in one of my, oh well, I guess one of my computers is going to go out. So we are so happy to have you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your book, because I know you're coming out with something new.
Okay. Well,
Debbie,
yes,
we have a
I'm
question on the chat.
Okay, am I clear now? Yeah. Yes, I've you know, I've been working on these books even long before we came to Africa, because the noble gases have been a long-term project of mine. I proved most of the noble gases, the ones that are existing and provable. That's helium, neon, argon, krypton, and xenon. But the books are much more than the proving. They go into the depth of the remedies, starting from the physicals and the affinities and generals, and going into the deepest philosophical aspects of them. And really, you see, if you can understand the noble gases, you can understand the whole of the period that leads up to the noble gases, because in chemistry, each one of the periods is striving to be like the noble gas. The noble gas is a complete and perfect state. So really, by understanding the noble gas, you can get an understanding of what all the elements in a row before and after are striving for, which is why I concentrated on proving them and understanding them. But more than just a book about a remedy, it opens up a gateway to the perfect world of the noble gases. It opens up a gateway to the understanding the periodic table, and it's also a demonstration of how to take a pure proving and understand it at very many different levels. Because if you can do that, if you can take a proving and perceive it at many different levels of depth, that gives you a tool to perceive any remedy and any patient, and that's what it's about. It's a teaching about how to go about understanding, approving a remedy and a patient, from the most physical to the most emotional and the most spiritual and philosophical. So it's been a long-term project. Helium has been out for a year now. I'm just about to publish neon, and I've finished argon, and I'm working on krypton. I'll be happy when it's all over because it's incredibly hard work. And, people say, well, you're publishing a book about just one remedy. People are used to having 100 remedies in a book these days. But it's a matter of how deep you can go in perception rather than how broad you can go. So that's one thing that I'm very proud about. And the other thing that I work on out of the many projects that I do is the repertory of mental qualities. That's something I've been developing over the last 7 years. It's a way to make homeopathic work more efficient, more simple, and more certain by making general big meta rubrics of concepts, like you might have the concept there of money. So it doesn't matter if a patient loves money or hates money or has fear of poverty or extravagant or avarice or dreams of money. Whatever it is, the right remedy will be in that rubric. And that means that it's quite easy to choose the right rubric and that the right remedy will invariably be in there, because we not only do we go through all the old books and the repertories, but we also have many new provings, many that haven't even been published yet. We go through all the journals, magazines, and websites. So you have very useful remedies there, like low self-esteem, obsessive compulsive disorder, failure, home and house, water, and each one of these is a large concept. So for instance, you might see a patient whose main issues are many themes of water and a theme about knives and points and a theme about let's say low self-esteem, and you combine those three rubrics, they're big rubrics, but you'll end up with just 30 or 40 remedies, and from there on you can choose the most appropriate remedy by looking at conventional rubrics. This repertory works alongside conventional repertories. And I'm happy to say that now all the big software programs have this repertory available on them. It's proved very, very efficient, practical day-to-day work. Keep it simple and with a higher possibility of success because you have a more complete and easy to choose rubric over there. So that is part of what I've been doing. There are many other projects, but I'm happy to share that all, and especially what we do in Africa. And I'm really grateful that you're there and that you're supporting us in this work, because we're doing it for Africa, we're doing it for AIDS, and we're doing it for homeopathy. That's what we believe in.
Okay, and do you want to send people to your homeopathy for health Africa.org or a different website?
Well, both of those. The Homeopathy for Health in Africa, one word, is, and we'll send you all these links. Homeopathy for Health in Africa.org is our Home Africa project website. And then for all the other projects, which is the repertory, the noble gases, I have an online course running as well of 14 sessions of simple secrets of success in homeopathy. Simple strategies of success in homeopathy. All that can be found on dynamis.edu, short for education, dynamis.edu, and many new provings that we published there that are now available, and articles. You can read about the Californium in one of the articles there, and other remedies that we've used and proved.
Okay, both of those links are on Homeopathy World Community on this announcement webpage, and I posted it onto the chat so people can get it there. Are there any last words before I tell them what's coming up in the following weeks? We're just so thrilled and honored to have you both.
Well, it's a great pleasure, and thank you all for your support. Here's Camilla.
Hi, thanks so much for joining us. It's really been a pleasure to talk to you all. And thank you, Debbie, for being such a lovely medium and helper at your end. We couldn't do this without your support. We couldn't do it without the help of homeopaths. And whether that help is financial, a lot of you are giving us donations. We are so grateful. Every little bit helps. or whether it is just, thumbs up on Facebook when things go not so great over here, or when things do go really great. It's really nice to feel that we're not alone, and we're part of a larger community, and we support each other and we help each other, and that's really priceless. So thank you very much.
You're
And thank you to
definitely
Dr.
not
Sharma.
alone. We're all sending you waves of awareness, love, and we're going to try and get some more people to back you by just showing this video over and over again.
Thank you, Debbie.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. Thank you very much for being there.
And
I don't know if you want to say one word
sir.
about Ebola,
Thank you
because
so much.
everyone's asking about it.
Oh, Ebola. Listen, we don't have any Ebola in Tanzania, really, so I haven't seen it. I know, people are working on it, and actually, Sally Tamplin recently told me that she's talking to people in Nigeria about getting homeopathy in there. So I'm sure we're going to come across it. I just repertorized some of the symptoms last night. And, everybody, of course, will go to Crotalus horridus and similar remedies. But putting in some of the symptoms yesterday, I just want to mention that I came up with Sekeli and creosote as possibilities also, other than the remedies that most of us are aware of. So
Very good.
Hopefully it won't spread and we won't need those remedies. And if we do, we'll be ready.
Thank you so much again. And
Debbie, just a second. Dr. Sharma, you were going to say something?
okay.
Yes, it's really interesting, sir, and we all are waiting to listening you from a long time, and we are inviting you to come in India, and we want to work together. Here is also very much all AIDS patient, and I am especially working on the dream of a snake right now. So I want to need your help regarding these dreams. And thank you so much for sharing your excellent work on the AIDS.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure, and we will come to India, especially if we get to eat thali.
Wonderful.
Definitely.
You'll get to
You're
see them.
welcome, sir.
Okay, so let me tell you, next Monday, August 11, we're going to have Dr. Dinesh doing case witnessing, pediatrics cases. It's going to be fabulous. And August 18th, the Joshis will be on. August 25th, right now, it's just me. And we'll see if somebody wants to pop in, or I'll talk about something interesting. We're going to have the fabulous Dr. Edward Condrot on eye health September 1. And the following 2 weeks will be to be announced September 22. Mike Andrews from the UK has just published a book on autism. So we have so many fabulous homeopaths around the world doing their own wonderful work, and we're bringing them to you via the Health In Show, Nissan Communications. We just love everyone, and most important, let's send peace and love, happiness and smiles all around to everyone. And thank you, Dr. Sharma, for being with us too, and Dr. Kubushan, who told me to invite Jeremy and Camilla. I guess that's it. And by the way, Amnon is going to have another show coming up. I don't know what's happening next, but Marilyn Shannon will be on. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. That VidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.